Hermes Agent recently released an update that allows you to orchestrate long-running agents and long-running tasks using a single /goal command. And everyone is raving about it, so I wanted to see, is it really better than the Ralph loop workflow I showed in one of my previous videos, and how it compares to this /goal command. That's why in this video we're going to go over what actually /goal is, how it works, when you would use it and when you would avoid it, and what Ralph loop is and how these two connect. And later in the video we're going to run these in parallel and build an app so you can see how the output looks like and just judge for yourself what makes more sense for you and your work style. And before we dig in, it would mean a lot to me if you can subscribe and like this video, and let me know in the comments if you tried this /goal command and what are your results like. So let's go over to News Research website here and see what /goal command is. It's based on Ralph loop, and Ralph loop is nothing more than a script that goes in circles and basically checks if the criteria is satisfied to exit or to start again. And if it starts again, it has the context of the previous run, so it doesn't make the same mistake. And this is very important. And this can run for 10 hours, 12 hours, 20 hours, if there is enough GitHub issues to cover. And I actually showed in my previous videos how to use this to create an app while I was sleeping, basically. So this workflow is very powerful, and I use it almost every day, and it'll be hard to convince me that /goal is better than this a lot, but let's see in this video how it ends up. So if you take a look here, we can see that it has 5 stages, and it might be better to look at this here. So once it's accepted the goal, it creates a plan, it decomposes the initial plan into this sort of PRD, I would say, product requirement document, and then it executes every step, and then the judge says, is this completed or not? So every step is judged by the judge model. It can be a different model, it can be the same model. And it tells it, is it finished or not? If it's not, it goes back. If it's finished, it exits. And in the end, you either get a clean result, this is done, and here are the results, or you get an error and what blocked it and why you need to intervene. And what you have to understand is that the judge is not a code reviewer, it's not a verifier, it's just a simple yes or no check to see if the loop continues or exits, if there are any blockers or not. And with Ralph loop, you can actually have a proper code review stage or even third-party code review, so you can get as close to production code as possible. But the interesting part here is that Codex actually has goal as well, and now Claude has this as well. So you can do pretty interesting things here with the /goal command, which you can see here. Shubham, and I'm hopefully not butchering his name, made this post where he uses Hermes as the orchestrator and then Claude and as the reviewer and Codex as a builder. So this is essentially a similar workflow as my Ralph loop workflow, where you have the reviewer as a different model or even an external service. This achieves that. I'm going to test this and I'm going to make a separate video on this, so feel free to subscribe so you don't miss that. It'll be an interesting one. So let's go back and discuss when you would use goal, when you would use Ralph, and when you would use Kanban. And these are all different methods how you can orchestrate or organize your agents. /goal to me right now, without further testing, is great for very specific tasks that have clear end goal. Let's say we want to move from npm to pnpm, or we want to move from Next.js to Svelte, or we want to move from local database to Supabase or vice versa. This is a great use case for /goal. You can just type, hey, we want to do a migration from a local database to Supabase. It can be done easily. And I actually did it for one of my websites. I migrated from Supabase to local JSON files so that Hermes can work with these databases and JSON files much easier than checking Supabase all the time. But that's a different video. And Ralph, to me right now, I would use it for more serious projects, for architecture first coding, for actual features, for production. To me, at least, This is much more precise. I can check the PRD, I can edit the PRD, I can see how it's broken into issues, I can stop it, I can resume it, and it just gives me more control. And I actually did this test for moving from Supabase to local JSON files with Ralph and with Kanban, and both were 100% clean. And I have to say, Goal had 7 compactions, so that kind of made me worry about if the output will be clean, but in the end it was great. So one minor bug, but it's nothing. And Kanban here, I would use Kanban specifically for tasks that are not related with code. Let's say you're making this video. Would you do /goal, hey, make me a video? Not really, right? Like you cannot do that end to end. It's not a clear goal. Like there is human in the loop. I have to film this video, then we have to edit it and whatnot. And Ralph also makes no sense because it's using GitHub issues. There is no PRs. There is no any of that. So there makes no sense to do it with Ralph. And Kanban here is perfect for these tasks. Let's say content production. You have the research, you have the script, you have the social media post, X post, LinkedIn post, images. So these can be all organized on the Kanban. But as we saw in Shubham's post, you can also use the Kanban to orchestrate Codex and Claude as a builder or code reviewer. And finally, before we dig into the live test, we have here this breakdown. And as far as token efficiency, Kanban seems to be the winner. For code, Ralph is still my preferred option because it's more precise. I can control it better. And for general work, I use Kanban. For goal, it can be used within Kanban or within Ralph. I still haven't tested that fully, so this is still a work in progress. But it just has a fast start. Like you can just type /goal and do something, but I wouldn't let it run for 12 hours like people say they did. So it's just my preference. So let's do the fun part. We're now going to compare Ralph and /goal command side by side, and let's go to the VS Code, and we can see here we have the 2 repos, Goal and Ralph. These are all both going to be separate Next.js apps. They have the same instructions, and Ralph is going to use this repository to store issues and work through them, and /goal is just going to use its internal thing, whatever it is that it uses. So let's go back here, and we'll initiate like this. So I'm going to start the /goal one. I have the instructions here. You'll be able to see it once I paste it. So we're going to cd into projects. Yes, that worked. Just checking the git status. Okay. And we're going to do Hermes here to initiate Hermes window. Okay, GPT 5.5, both are using GPT 5.5. Ralph is using 5.5 low for slices for doing the tasks, and then it reviews with 5.5 high. And here it's probably using the same one. Okay, let me just pull this so you can see here. Okay, goal is /goal build demo Kanban app in Next.js, SQLite requirements. It should be like Trello, linear, dark mode, whatever. So it's similar to Hermes agent Kanban, but we want to see how it would create. And I like this test because it has a couple moving parts. You need to do correctly the card moving, like opening modals and all that, which sometimes isn't the easiest for agents. So this is a good test. And in the end, it'll report what model it used, what happened, did it use sub-agents, profiles. My test with /goal didn't use sub-agents, and that's important. I want to see if this will be using sub-agents and sub-profiles. How the judge reviewed, and yeah, in the end, whatever, all the model and whatnot. And we can initiate it like this. So /goal. So this is the goal one. And then for Ralph, we're going to go here. And as I said, we have connected our GitHub repo here. So we'll just give it instructions. it's 90% the same. It's just saying that it should use the shape skill, which combines the grill me and to PRD to build the PRD essentially, and then we'll push it to issues, and then we'll see who does it faster and better. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, so this will be the repo it uses for issues. Connecting a GitHub repo is pretty easy. You should be able to just ask ChatGPT or Claude or Hermes to help you with that. So I'm going to pause for a little bit so you can see, but before that, you can see here that the goal one is running. It's actually using the correct agent. It's using the coder, and it's following test-driven development, code review, and Karpati guidelines, which is all great. And this one is looking up the profiles list. This part will be much slower because this one is already coding and this one is still writing the PRD. But depending on how important it is for you to see what's inside that PRD, this might be better. Let's see. I'm going to pause now for a few seconds just so it finishes the PRD. Okay, so you can see that it's writing the PRD here, and it will appear inside of this folder, and you can see that this is already underway. Looks very promising. I'll just wait for a few more seconds. Okay, and while this is still working, we have the PRD here, which we can take a look briefly. So it specifies everything. It's not that extensive as it can be. Sometimes it can be like 1,000 lines, but yeah, this is great. You can see this. And now that I think about it, like if you give this to Gold, he'll probably just do just as well as this one, because this one is now doing the analyzing the page. So he's actually got the page creation part, visual QA, and this one didn't even start yet. Okay, yeah, so this was a bit stuck. So we have the PRD. Okay, so we can say these two issues and start Ralph. Let's finish this and let's see how this is doing. This is actually clicking around. You can see the error here. Small visual polish. This is amazing, by the way. Here we still didn't get to the issues. Pausing again, so you don't have to wait through this. Okay, a couple seconds later, it says it's done to issues and Ralph is going. The not so good part is when I do this in Codex, I can actually see what it's doing, kind of like here. But here it just says notify me when it finishes. We have the issues here, as you can see. So we'll see how fast this finishes. Let me just tell it open in browser. Okay, so this is the goal one, create card, test, coder, create card. Okay, interesting. So this is already finished. Okay, very interesting. So let's see if this can be moved, saved, delete, test. Okay, so yeah, I cannot move it, I guess. So that part is not finished. And this one is still on the coder. Probably restarted the dev server. So it's analyzing again. I'm gonna pause again just to see. Let me see here. Yeah, I'll need to pause again for a few minutes just so something develops around here. But we're very close, it seems. Okay, so the interesting part here is that the goal finished already, so we'll see how this looks. But I guess apples to apples would have been to have the PRD for Ralph and just compare the coding part and how fast that is. But it is what it is. We're just waiting for that. I'll just show you in the end how that looks, but let's see how this one looks. So let's see the output here. So we have this now. Card, test, coder, test. Put this here. So this is absolutely not the best design. Design is horrendous. So yeah, this doesn't work, moving the cards. So yeah, deleting the cards works. But okay, I mean, you can see what you have something, right? Like if you defined how you want to design, if you did a design in Cloud Design perhaps at first and just gave that to the goal here, it would be much better. But yeah, it's a prototype. It's definitely not nearly something I would use in production for the whole app. So you could technically say it's working, but would you use this? Absolutely not. I will pause this again and see what Ralph comes up with. It'll probably take like 1 hour for it to finish, but when it's done, I'll show that to you as well. And okay, it is finished and took 80 years. I'm just kidding. So it took about 1 hour. I went out with kids, so the light is different. You can see I have this light over here. And let's see what it made. So this is the Ralph loop one, and this is the old one from the goal/goal feature. So if we see here and try to make a card, I don't like the colors. I'm not a big fan of these colors, but let's see here. So you can edit this, you can save, edit, delete. Yes, so design-wise, it's still terrible because it's GPT 5.5, of course. Let's see if the drag and drop works. It actually does. Wow, very interesting. Okay, so that works. Changing things, saving edits works. So, okay, the conclusion here is Ralph did make a better app. Technically, it's not the best by far. It has a long way to go. The design is not the best, but from technical standpoint, like from features, it looks better. If we go back, we cannot do anything with this card. Can we change things? Yes, that's fine. So was Ralph better? Yes. Did it take much longer? Absolutely yes. So if you want to bang something out, see how it looks, try something, by all means, /goal is your tool. If you want more control, if you want to see what it's building, to control what issues it's creating, then Ralph is definitely your tool. So I probably won't be replacing Ralph with /goal right now. I might be implementing /goal in some way. I will test Claude and Codex as the builder and reviewer and in one of the next videos, so you can watch that when it's ready. Subscribe if you haven't. And yeah, that's it. Let me know in the comment section below, have you tested Ralph or /goal feature, and what are your thoughts and results? Thank you.